Welcome back to Randomization LIVENODING. In this episode, I want to share the breakdown of these creations. Basically, Suzanne monkey head with like a flower succulent plant kind of thing. I call this succulent Suzanne. Yeah, so basically, I was inspired by this plant, and I was thinking, okay, maybe we can just scatter this type of plant on Suzanne, right? So that's what I exactly did. Let's start with the lighting. Currently I'm using Eevee. This thing will actually render with cycles as well. With this is probably more correct subsurface scattering. However, it works with Eevee, and it doesn't look too bad actually with ambient occlusions and bloom turned on. For now, I'm just gonna turn it off, and I will show you the setup. First of all, we have this lightning setup generator, which is basically from BBBN. This one, lightning setup generator. It's actually $0, but you can always like purchase multiple times to give donations. Yeah. So the setup is using geometry nodes, and it's looking something like this. You can dig inside it yourself. It's basically giving you all this type of 3-point lighting, and you can randomize it. You can add more light. You can randomize the position using this control. So yeah, I think it's pretty neat. So you can control minimum and maximum light to give different diffusions. Yeah, that's basically the light setup. As for the artwork itself, it's just a random succulent flower that I created. First of all, the succulent flower is looking something like this. It's pretty simple. You can already guess. You can see how when I move this, the instance break apart. You can turn this off by using relative. Oh no, just for now, just take a look at the succulent itself. It's basically a spiral, right? A spiral with some resolutions that you can control. You can also have the start and end radius. So that's the flower. It's very simple. This one, you can make a better one. I instance bunch of objects on its points, and the object is simply this kite, quadrilateral kite. Okay, so it's looking like a kite, and then I just use fillet, fill, triangulate. If we want to offset it, you can use this offset. There's these rotations that's aligning the kite into the spiral, and then I did use a bit of rotations there. Realize instances, set material with succulent material. The material have some randomizations for each flower object, and then I use solidify and subdivision. So we have our flower, succulent flower. I just put it inside this collections, and then I just need to reset the positions and hide it. So our flower, did I rotate this just now? I don't know. Well, anyway, hide the flower, go to Suzanne. Now I just simply use distribute points on faces. So this is like a super simple example, but you can see it's really powerful. Even using just the basic geometry nodes, it's really good for things like scattering stuff, you know, like and you can always make some kind of adjustment. If you want to randomize the succulent flower with the instance, you can scale the instance, and then here you can use random value. Just randomize this using float value. This is the minimum radius and the largest radius. just randomize it. And then you can also rotate instances, of course. So this is the rotations of the instance. You can see this is still like following the normal, so this is kind of nice to be able to do this, I think. So it is using local space. Pivot point, this random might not actually. Okay, we need to set up the pivot point and to have the normal, I guess. Anyway, randomize always work. So we want to use combine XYZ. This random goes into the Z axis. Oh, okay, seems to be wobbling a little bit. Anyhow, you can cover Suzanne face with this. And you can apply this into anything. It's very simple. If we use like a text object, I mean, these days we don't actually need to use text objects, but you can still use it. Geometry extrude with text object. Can we use with geometry nodes? Oh yeah, apparently we can, surprisingly. And we can just maybe scatter. And because our text object is quite large, maybe we need to have control over the size. And yeah, I think it's pretty neat. So you have this flowery thing happening. So that's basically the setup. Yeah, it's not too hard. And we can adjust the light. This light might need to be, yeah, it can still be moved and scaled because it's just an object of geometry nodes, and you can randomize the index and increase the number of light, and you can bake the light if you want to. So we have quite neat looking result. Oh, by the way, it's still rendering, that's why it's a bit slow. But yeah, with this just a simple geometry setup, you have this kind of succulent looking flower. Definitely can be improved. You can always replace the instance with something else. But this is the basic idea of geometry nodes, I guess. And the more assets we have and the more assets we share, like this light, for example, is really neat. Thanks BBBN and Leo BRSL to give this example, and yeah, give it a try yourself. I think, yeah, this is just the basic example, but again, you can get a nice result even just with something basic like this. Hopefully you find this useful. Thanks again for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye.